Yet again, it's a moment of magic from Lionel Messi that sends Argentina into the quarterfinals, overcoming a spirited and dogged defense from the Swiss. Belgium into the quarterfinals too once again. This time the attacking talents come to the fore, but after overcoming a fantastic performance from the American goalkeeper Tim Howard. So the last 8 lineups are all ready. Get ready for some really big battles. All 8 group toppers have made it to the quarterfinals. Hello and welcome to the beautiful game here on CNN IB, and I'm Sanjeev Mukherjee. Joining me as always bright and early in the morning, Novi Kapadia and Karim Ben Sharifa haven't caught really that much of sleep due to the 2 late games. But before we get to Novi and Karim, let's take you through the top game which we are going to talk right at this moment. Argentina entering the quarterfinals of the World Cup 2014, beating the Swiss 1-0 after extra time in Sao Paulo. It was a rather cagey start from both teams as they sized each other up. The Swiss keeping a close watch on Lionel Messi and didn't give him too much space. But despite Ottmar Hitzfeld's stifling tactics, it was Switzerland who would have the best chance of the first half. Romero denying Xhaka after he had been set up by Shaqiri in the 29th minute. Minutes later, Joseph Drmic was on goal, but with just the keeper to beat, he scuffed his chances. Argentina, though, looked better after the interval. Higuain and Messi seeing their attempt saved by Vinaglio, who held fort on the Swiss goal to take the match into extra time. Even extra time didn't look like it could separate the sides until that man, Leo Messi, dribbled his way past the Swiss backline for 40 yards to set up Angel Di Maria, who otherwise had a very disappointing game. And with barely 2 minutes left on the clock, Di Maria made no mistake whatsoever to seal a berth in the quarterfinals for the Argentines. Let's now listen to their fans who are, of course, celebrating.
I've enjoyed the game. It was very near together, but finally I think Messi faced different, a very good pass to Di Maria, and the shot was too short. And yeah, the goalero Benalius played very well today, but the shot was too hard for him.
It was a difficult match, a match that took us a lot to get the goal, and we came close many more times than them. They had very few opportunities, and Argentina is the best. Argentina.
So near yet so far for the Swiss. Let's take you through the numbers. 61% ball possession, that's what the Argentines enjoyed in compared to the Swiss, 39% for them. Interestingly, 29 shots Argentina took, out of which 22 were on target, yet all they managed was just 1 goal, 13 corners also coming for the Argentine, which talks a lot about the fact that this was not really the sort of game their coach would be very happy about. Novi Kapadia, 117 minutes, and finally it took yet again a moment of magic for Leo Messi to take them over the line.
Well, who capitalized on a mistake by the Swiss right back Stefan Lichtsteiner, who otherwise had a very good game and overall in the tournament has been one of the more impressive right backs. But that is the magic of Messi. Didn't score a goal this time, but once more the sort of the Midas touch in the closing minutes. He sped through, and that perfect weighted pass. And Angel Di Maria also, a second later he would have been closed down. So it was perfect combination, but one felt sorry for the Swiss, especially Ottmar Hitzfeld, who's now faded into retirement.
Right.
Because the tactics, the way he set up the Swiss, they were like a precision clock.
Right.
You know, closing down Argentina. I mean, I think Argentina couldn't unravel the Swiss defense. Messi finally did it. But this time, capitalizing on a mistake.
Right, it could actually have turned out to be a very messy affair for the Argentines themselves, but more on the tactics in a while. But Karim, at the outset, very poor game for Argentina, possibly the poorest of their tournament so far.
Well, of course, the Swiss make it difficult for them, but Argentina is very disappointing in the sense, before the tournament start, we thought that Argentina will have a deadly attack.
Right.
We'll have a lot of creativity in the final third, and that's
right.
their strength. But what was disappointing is what most of the players, except Messi, including Di Maria, didn't manage to beat player on one-on-one situation, to penetrate the defense with their individual skills. Because that's what Higuain, that's what he do in the Serie A. Lavezzi, that's what he do in the French league. They make a difference by beating one or two players before opening spaces for either for themselves or other. But this Argentina, it seems that only Messi have that courage and that confidence to take on players. And you know, on the final third, if you cannot take on players, if you cannot beat opponent, especially on those one-on-one situations, it's very difficult to create spaces, especially when you play against teams who have a quite compact defense like what Switzerland did.
Right. Novi, just about 10 or 11 days after they were humiliated, if I could say, by France 5-2. What a performance there from Switzerland. They were very close to actually winning this game. Who knows?
Look, credit to Ottmar Hitzfeld, who is reputed to be a great tactician, a great motivator, and who's won the UEFA Champions League twice with two different clubs. So the way he's revived Switzerland, full credit to him. You know, they came back to beat Honduras 3-0 and then took Argentina to the wire, prevented them from playing that dribbling game, the flair game. And yes, troubled Argentina. And in fact, Sanjeev had the better chances. The better chances Switzerland had to win this game.
Absolutely. They're very little separated them. Karim, yes, we will talk to you about Messi, what they did to stop Messi. But before that, we've seen them play 5-3-2. We've also seen them play a very flowing 4-3-3. This time it looked like, rather like 4-4-2 or what was it, 4-4-1-1, whatever it was, with Lavezzi on the right, Messi in a roving role, familiar. Why did it not work out?
Well, first, I will start with the Swiss team. 4-2-3-1, defending with a very good block around their box, and so Switzerland came like this with this plan. They leave only one striker. Argentina normally on a 4-3-3, but actually we have Lavezzi, who was the striker. We have Higuain, who was striker, and Messi was slightly behind. So it's like a diamond 4-4-2 with Gago, Di Maria. Di Maria, who initially started here but switched on the right side. And of course the support of Zabaleta and Rojo, plus the defender. Now what Switzerland did, they kept a block around their box, and they give these spaces on the side. That wasn't a bother for Switzerland. So what Argentina start doing is they got the ball through these areas, and they did deliver a lot of crosses into the box. But crosses, you have strong defenders, especially Giroud, who had a heroic performance, and you have Lavezzi and Higuain. You know, they had no chance to win those headers.
One-on-one,
you know, that's where I think it was very important for, especially when whether with Zabaleta or Di Maria later on when he come here. It's very important to go and try to penetrate with one-on-one situation, and then deliver a killer pass on the ground, because that's where Argentina is strong on.
That's absolutely the way it panned out. But Novi, you know, just taking this a little forward, Gago and Mascherano, they might be solid in central midfield, but the thrust which generally you look for in a team like Argentina between midfield and attack, that seemed to be lacking. That is a problem which they have to solve. They cannot just say that we will only depend on Messi to do the magic.
Yes, the midfield again let Argentina down. Both Fernando Gago and Javier Mascherano just not being creative enough, getting the through passes. You know, besides, as Karim is saying, the lack of dribbling skills, we didn't see the through passes, the clever wall pass, or the change in pace. Somewhat unimaginative, the Argentinian team. I mean, those non-stop crosses, it's like carrying coals to Newcastle. Giroud and Senderos, I mean, just, you know, they had a comfortable afternoon. Of course, defended very resolutely, kept their concentration. But Higuain, for me, has been the major disappointment in the Argentinian attack.
But he never really showed up when it mattered. But Karim, now coming to the big question, is tell us what was the strategy which Hitzfeld used to actually curb Messi? Because Messi, in spite of his magic, whenever he was on the ball, it looked very difficult even for him to make inroads into the Swiss defense.
Well, the coach said before in the post-press conference that he will show how to stop Messi, and I think they did it very well as a team. You know, around around this area, Messi had basically no chance to penetrate, because whenever he moved and get the ball, the 2 or 3 players around him will put immediate pressure on him, because most of the team, what they do when Messi get the ball, they put pressure on one player and the other players are slightly closer. Here, whenever Messi get the ball, you will see, for example, in this situation, you will see all the players around him will crowd him and will put immediate pressure on him this way, which was very difficult for him. If Messi, for example, will move and get the ball into this area, the players around this area, they will come and put quick pressure on him. That's how he was every time they got, the plan was like this, every time Messi get the ball, there is 2 to 3 players
immediately
pressure,
converging on
and
him.
of course when he passed the ball, then they reorganize again and they get into their position.
Very complicated stuff, but they have executed it brilliantly, and thank you, Karim, for showing us. Maybe is a cue on how to stop Lionel Messi, possibly on a football field. But Novi, Inlar and Behrami obviously played the matches of their lives, the game of their lives. I'm told, you know, that these 2 guys, they fell out in a practice session and they stopped talking to each other. But when it came to stopping Messi, they were right on the ball.
Well, that's sheer professionalism. Yes, the stories have come from Napoli that they both play in the Serie A. And since the beginning of the year, they're not the best of friends, but that is what a professional team is about. You know, you don't have to be buddies. Everybody can't be friends, but when you turn up on the field, you play as a team.
Right.
And I think both of them had absolutely outstanding matches.
Right.
But, you know, for what was sad to see in Argentina, where is a player like Osvaldo Ardiles, a Burruchaga, you know, that type of creative midfielder, when they won the World Cup. Even a Riquelme. Oh, they greatly missed a player like Riquelme, who could thread those balls through precision like the eye of a needle. Here there was nobody. I mean, you wanted Messi to be the creator, the dribbler, the finisher,
provider, and also the scorer.
I mean, it is really much too much. The other people sort of, you know, as if the other players are in a slumber.
Right, which brings me to the other important question that, you know, while it's all fair to say that maybe Messi is carrying the burden of Argentina alone on his shoulders, but Karim, Angel Di Maria, yes, he struck the winner, fantastic shot there, but he scored in 12 attempts, that's number one. And secondly, we've seen he literally had no possession. He gave away the ball 51 times, that's what the statistics are telling us, and he just was not good enough on the field. What's wrong with Angel Di Maria?
He wasn't sharp in most of the balls that he got. He attempted shots, he attempted crosses where he couldn't, he had always that one time slower than the defender, because he was every time blocked. You know, he tried to cross, then there is a block, he tried to shoot, then there is a block. And that's where comes the little bit the sense, you know, when you have when you see you bring the ball on your left foot and then you sense that you get a block, then maybe bring it to the right foot and then go and then give a cross. That's where the creativity, it looks, everything he was doing as Argentina, except Messi, was predictable.
Yeah. Do you also get the feel, both this question both to you, Karim and Novi, that the team, Argentina team, they are a bit confused trying to mold themselves in the formation which Sabella is using them for?
It's just like nobody is involved in as a team in whatever they do, because they are playing a 4-3-3, 4-3-1-2, whatever we can call it, but the coordination between the team, there was, as I explained here, they was bringing the ball to the flanks, pumping crosses inside, which they could not manage because of the short height of their strikers. But what I was expecting from this team, what was exciting for us, is to see combination plays, to see a lot of wall pass, to see dribbling, beating a player, then giving a proper pass on the ground, on the feet, because that's the strength of Argentina. But unfortunately, what we are seeing is a bit disjuncted. Even when they defend, there is always spaces. Yesterday, except if not of the heroic performance of Mascarenas, they could be in trouble in many times defensively as well. So there is not enough signs for a strong team who's going to go all the way and win the World Cup.
Right. Which brings us to the final question, Novi, and I'm sure people would be wanting to know this. Yes, Argentina once upon a time, if I could say, used to rely on Diego Maradona to single-handedly deliver them the goods. Do you think they can actually depend on just Messi and Messi alone to do the trick this time, going by the evidence you've seen?
Well, he's taken them to the quarter-final. It is entirely because of Messi over here. So,
Right.
I mean, again, to quote from Scolari, 3 matches more and they'll be in heaven. But it does seem increasingly difficult. See, the importance in the football matches is football is chess at high speed. You have to think creatively. The coach can tell you, Karim tells his team so many plans, but the really creative player also thinks out.
Right.
Thinks how things. That was the genius of Maradona.
Right.
Not plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. Ultimately, he made so many plans through his own dribbling skills. Here, they seem to be just so over-reliant on just Messi,
Yeah.
you know, creating things. So, the other players have become lackluster, have become very predictable, and still the major worry. The defense, it could be their Achilles heel in the tougher matches, especially against Belgium in the quarterfinal.
Ezequiel Garay and Fernandes, they are the two players who are already on the websites of a number of online polls considered and being considered as the worst defenders, also the worst players in this World Cup. Yes, we must not forget what Messi himself said at the post-match press conference, saying that I guess luck was on our side today, but that's football. Yes, he's actually carried his team through 4 matches. Only 3 games stand between Lionel Messi and a World Cup. Who knows what's going to happen in the days to come. Now, moving on. Belgium have also set up a quarter-final clash, and that too against Argentina, but they too needed extra time to overcome USA 2-1 in Salvador. After a goalless 90 minutes, the Belgians turned it on in extra time. Kevin De Bruyne giving the Red Devils the lead after being played in by Romelu Lukaku 2 minutes after the restart. And then super sub Lukaku made it 2 towards the end of the first period. The Americans looked all but out, but Jurgen Klinsmann's men pulled one back right after the break. The 19-year-old Julian Green scoring to set up an exhilarating finish with what was his first touch in a World Cup game. The chances came thick and fast towards the end, but the US just could not apply the final touch to draw level. 2-1 it finished to Belgium, who reached the last 8 of the World Cup for the first time since 1986. Right, let's take you through the figures of that match, USA versus Belgium. Belgium had only 46% compared to 54 for USA, who used their high pressing game to try and rattle the Belgian midfield, but it did not really work. But what is an astonishing fact, in which we're going to talk about, is 39 shots Belgium took. Yes, 39 shots, one of the highest number of shots ever taken in a game by one team. Only 17 on target. They also had 19 corners. But look at how the game panned out. 2-1, that too in extra time. Karim, if I could come to you. Belgium did all that they could. Yes, everybody has been harsh to Belgium, including ourselves. We said that yes, they are the generation team of Belgium, but they have yet to show their ominous talent. Finally, the attacking instincts came to the fore, but what would they do when they're faced by somebody like Tim Howard, who made the most number of saves in a single game by a goalkeeper?
It seems it's the World Cup of the goalkeepers, you know, and unfortunately all those goalkeepers who make a heroic performance,
all going out.
Their teams is out. So it was a similar game, strangely similar game to Germany, Algeria. If you notice, both USA and Algeria have conceded in a very vulnerable time, which is at the start of the extra time. You played already 90 minutes. There is a physical fatigue, but there is also a mental fatigue. And that moment, lapses of concentration, that's where the goals was conceded. Again, another substitute who make the difference. Lukaku come in,
right.
set in the first goal and scoring the second,
right.
which this is the highest he scored. This is the 28th goal scored by substitute players, which is amazing. So, but definitely Belgium deserve to go to the next round because of they, as we had seen on the statistics,
right.
49% possession, but they make full use of it with the amount of shots, the amount of attacks they did. Unfortunately, there was in front of a goalkeeper in top form. Otherwise, they could have killed the game long time before.
Tim Hart would absolutely be delighted and also saddened that in spite of his outstanding performance, Novi, he had to end up on the losing side. But yes, we talk so much about the underdogs, but the winners, the winning sides, even if they do not perform well, as we've seen in certain cases with bigger teams, they somehow manage to find a way to score that important goal and win a match.
They've done it for 4 successive matches. They've found a way, but always after the 80th minute. They sort of wear you down. It's like dripping water. They just breaks down the resistance. And, the 1950, the last World Cup in Brazil was remembered for scintillating attacks. I mean, Zizou, Eder, the Brazilian forwards, Uruguay's forwards, Gigia and all. This World Cup is going to be sadly remembered for some great goalkeeping. I mean, Tim Howard played the game of his life. I mean, he was absolutely, the way he thwarted his own Everton teammate Miralles on several occasions and all the other Belgium players. Belgium were at their creative best, and if US President Barack Obama was watching. He was. We'll in fact get those pictures up on our screens in just a while. In fact, he was sitting there with his White House staff. There he is entering his room. And Novi, that must have been something for Obama to see that his side take on one of the better European sides and actually, go out, but with their heads held high. They impressed. Heads held high primarily, I think, due to the goalkeeper. I mean, he's a sports enthusiast, a sports buff. I'm sure he's realized that athleticism can take you so far. I mean, Klinsmann has done a wonderful job with the young US team, and they have played above themselves, but still the class of Belgium came to the forefront. And full credit to Mark Wilmots. Lukaku was the unwanted man when he'd been substituted. He hadn't shaken hands with the players. It seemed he was being discarded. But he came on and provided the Midas touch. A bold gamble to bring on a striker out of touch. And he got the winning goal. So, but still, USA have made a major impression on this tournament, and Obama can be happy on that. But finally, the Waffles triumph. Finally, the Waffles, yes, it did. And Obama, as we can see in the footage there, he seems pretty interested. And of course, who knows, he might as well ask the authorities to do even more for American football so that it goes from strength to strength. Well, that's it for this segment. It's time for a short break. When we come back, we'll talk to you about the important and very interesting lineups, starting with the big ones coming up this Friday. So stay up for that. Welcome back. Yes, you are with the beautiful game. It's time now to take you through the lineups. Some mouth-watering quarter-final lineup has been set up this time in the World Cup. Yes, this half of the draw, we have France versus Germany. This is the first quarter-final which will be played in this World Cup in Rio this Friday, 9:30 p.m. India time, followed by another cracking South American clash, Brazil versus Colombia. But let's talk to our guests, Karim and Novi, about France and Germany. France versus Germany. Slightly different styles, but both European powerhouses. Germans started really well. Yes, they've come into the quarterfinals, but when it comes to convincing their fans, they've not really convinced them that much. While France seem to be the form team in this tournament. Novi, if you start. Yes, France certainly seemed to be the form team, and there's a lot of historic rivalry between these two countries, especially in 1982 and 1982. France will always remember. I mean, 1982 seems to have been a World Cup where Germany created lots of enemies. From Algeria to France, the Battiston battered. And 1986, where France were favourites but succumbed. So France, the informed team, will be looking to right the wrongs of history. Again, a very close match, I think. It won't be the 6-3 that it was when they played a third place match when Just Fontaine got his 13 goals in 1958. But ultimately, if Germany get their defence right, I think the sheer quality should take them over the line. Karim, what are your thoughts going into this match?
It's out of the 4 games that we have next is the only classic. World Cup classic game. This is the game that you look for in a World Cup. Two countries with the strong football culture, and now it's about at this stage is about a lot about strategical decisions about the coaches. There is players who are maybe suspended at this stage. There are players who maybe have slight small injuries. And it's how to manage all this, manage the fatigue, manage the recovery of the players.
Right.
It's all about that. It's
Right.
about also the mental preparation, because the player reach a level now where
Right.
they're tired after all the games and after the tension of going through every game. Germany may be the more tired because going through extra time and all that, but it's going to be a very balanced game.
Karim, are you going to give me a scoreline or not?
A scoreline.
Come on, come on. You need to give me a scoreline.
You see, I always
5-0 France or 3-1 Germany, something. Come on.
Like I would say maybe 2-1 for Germany.
2-1 for Germany. What about you,
Advantage
Novi?
Germany.
Yeah,
What about you?
advantage Germany. Again, a 1-goal margin, whatever, whether it goes to extra time.
No, take France.
No, Germany. I mean, but yes, a football classic. I mean, what the whole world looks forward to. This is the type of match.
This is like a derby.
This is like
Yeah,
a derby.
the
More-
best of the quarterfinals for people all over the world, even sort of neutral football lovers like us.
All right, well, we at least know that Karim is not neutral because he's already given it 2-1 to Germany. He's also egging on Novi to make his choice. The next one we're going to talk about now. Same, Friday past midnight, and Fortaleza are coming to you from there. Brazil versus Colombia. Will it be the battle between Rodriguez and Neymar, or is it a much more? Karim, yes, two very different styles yet again. We have seen Brazil, once again, we could say a one-man team, primarily depending on Neymar to take them through to wherever they are right now. Yes, they seem to be much more attacking than Messi's Argentina. But right now, they are facing one team, Colombia, which seemed to have been the most convincing, making it to the stage.
It's a South American derby, if we can say. It's time for Scolari to get the right, combination, because till now it's not convincing. They scrapped their way through till through the quarterfinal,
Right.
and it's very important to find the right combination. As we discussed, Fred is not performing well. Whether to put Hulk on a striker position, all these questions have to be. I'm sure Scolari is thinking about. They have to find a way to stop the James Rodriguez, because he's not a player. He's also a very mobile player. Although starting from the right side, he always end up on central, on a forward positions. And of course, they are sweating to get Neymar on a full fitness, because he picked an injury in the last game, and
Right.
they are lucky. There is few days that they can bring him back. I'm sure he will be back. So it's a very difficult game for Brazil.
Very difficult game for Brazil, and a lot of Brazilian fans would be actually hoping for a incredible Hulk-like performance from Hulk. But Rodriguez, there is a lot of controversy about how you pronounce his name. Is it James, or is James, or is James? Whatever it might be, he has been the star of the tournament in a certain way. He's upstaged Messi and Neymar till this point in this tournament with 5 goals. Not only that, he seems to be the linchpin that is driving forward this Colombian attack. Novi.
It's absolutely brilliant form, scintillating form, and for me, this match is a clash between the most eligible bachelor in the world of football, Neymar, against a man who could have been also the most eligible bachelor, except that he's married at a very young age. But will Rodriguez be able to withstand the pressure of the crowd and Colombia? That is very important, because Chile, were also in the group stage such a brilliant attacking team, but they didn't come to the party against Brazil. Brazil somehow, pressurize you into going onto the back foot, and against South American countries, that is a major setback, because Colombia, all South American countries have a little bit of complex when playing Brazil. So I would give the edge to Brazil. Again, a match which could go to extra time.
I like the way Karim actually looks at Novi when Novi gives out this, this extra information about the fact that he's young, superstar, he's married. But, there would be pressure, but also there are other stories which make the sport so great, so beautiful. Colombia right now would be, celebrating, not really celebrating, but remembering the Escobar incident. It's it's been a really long time, and while this time the incident happened close to this particular time of the year, what they would now like is not only to dethrone Brazil and beat Brazil, but also re-establish themselves as among the top 3 in South America, because it's always been Brazil, Argentina, maybe sometimes Mexico. Colombia was there briefly, but now they know this is the opportunity to come back into the top 3 in South America.
Well, as Colombia is a bit like the same situation as Costa Rica, they have nothing to lose. I don't think anybody expected Colombia to go all the way till this stage, and that's their strength. Is they will go as much as Brazil will go with that favorite tag, with the home organizing country, with the pressure of winning this 6th title. Colombia will go with a more relaxed mood, and that's the strength that they have over the advantage that they have over Brazil. Is they will go, they have nothing to lose, and that's where the teams became very difficult. When they have nothing to lose, because they can go. They can do their, and the other question is Brazil defense will be tested, because most of the time Brazil played against teams that use either 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 with one striker. Colombia is one of the rare teams that is playing 4-4-2, and having to deal with always 2 strikers available there, whether both Marcelo and Alves can still go forward, both of them. It remains to be seen.
For the scoreline, we'll certainly come back to both Novi and Karim, but we still have a few days left for these 2 great games to come up. Before that, it's time now, as of now, in fact, to take a short break on the show. When we come back, we talk about the other 2 big quarter-final games that are being set up in this World Cup. So stay tuned. Yes, the 8 group toppers have made it to the quarterfinals. Let's take you, or rather give you another look at the quarterfinal lineup and what a matchup this is going to be. Yes, Argentina defeating Switzerland to enter the quarterfinals, and now they are run into Belgium, who had beat USA in extra time 2-1. This game on Saturday coming to you at 9:30 from Brasilia. Argentina versus Belgium. Karim, would Belgium be fancying their chances rather against Argentina, because they saw, other than Messi, as we've spoken about, there's not much teeth or rather bite in the Argentine attack. Would they be now fancying their chances against this squad?
But the bite of Messi is very big.
The bite of Messi, we don't yet know.
Till now, he's it's a headache for them. Though, see, every team know that how Argentina is underperforming, especially up front. But all of them, they could see that Messi, if you leave him 1 second, he will make a difference. That's the dangerous part of Messi. He can, like Switzerland, may be one of the rare teams that stopped Messi with the way we explain. But you see, one mistake, 1 second you lack that marking, he can make a difference. So Belgium will be worried about Messi, no doubt. Will be planning for him, but they also have the ability to go all out to hit Argentina. Till now, most of the teams, I think, that played Argentina, most of them, they defended. You know, they was worried about Argentina playing that 3 excellent striker and all that, and they defended and played on the counter. I think Belgium should test Argentina and should go with their normal plan, the way they play, the 4-2-3-1, trying to attack, maybe even if they don't get possession like what they did against USA. But at least they go at the teams, they play some attacking football. That will test Argentina, because till now I don't think any team had tested Argentina going forward against them.
Quickly to wrap up this one at least, Novi, what will possibly worry the Argentines will be the absence of Rojo, who picked up a booking, is not eligible for this game, and he actually was the standout player in the game yesterday. And the fact that Eden Hazard, the likes of Hazard and De Bruyne, they are actually coming into their own, as we saw last night, that means the Argentine defense, their job will be cut out, and we know what Garay and Fernandes are actually capable of.
It makes the defense more susceptible. Does he bring back Martin de Michelis, or does he play that Basanta who came on in the match against Switzerland yesterday? It certainly gives more chances to Belgium, but let's see how the Belgium midfield turns up for this match. Are they going to throttle Messi, follow the Swiss template, or are they going to play Witsel, De Bruyne, Miralles? Are they going to play that free-flowing attacking game? So what does Mark Wilmot's plan? But it's a trouble match for Argentina. You know, that jinx of the quarterfinal, 24-year-old itch, may not still end. I mean, Belgium are now proving to be the real underdogs, the dark horses of this World Cup.
It's not about waffles and chocolates. Which brings us to the final match in this stage, the last quarterfinal. Netherlands versus Costa Rica being Saturday night 1:30 at Salvador. Netherlands, obviously another of the form teams like France, devastating attack. Van Persie and Robben in fantastic form. Yes, this is from where they actually make the charge, the final rush towards the semi-final, also the final. This is the place from where they start the assault.
Yeah, absolutely. Very efficient Netherlands, very flexible tactically. They are very organized. And very pragmatic. You know. Also, the Netherlands have showed that. When you play them, you have to play till the final whistle.
Right.
In fact, in the last 2 games, I think they scored in the last 5 minutes. In fact, all the games, the most vulnerable time for those teams who are lacking experience. Now, Costa Rica should learn from the previous experiences of Algeria, of USA, is to make sure to concentrate more on the last 5-10 minutes of the 90 minutes, but also if there is extra time, the start of these are the vulnerable time where teams with less experience are vulnerable, and when they lose that concentration. It's very interesting to see in all those games that though the World Cup started, the hype about the South American teams, and now it is 50-50. We have 4 European teams and 4 South American teams
in
quite balanced.
Absolutely. Novi, is this all for Costa Rica? Will they be thinking that we are playing possibly the most powerful, the best side in the World Cup so far? Is it all over for them in that sense? Obviously, they'll not throw in the towel before the game, but they are the same team who actually topped the group of death and sent 2 former world champions back home.
Yes, the fairy tale has continued so far. How long more? But you know, this stopping the group of death it's having a major problem for the Costa Rican journalists in Brazil because they'd all booked out of the hotel at the end of the group of death. None of them even thought that their team would progress. Flights had been booked, the latest till the round of 16. So they're all running short of money also because they don't have the money to pay the hotel or, you know, rechange their flight fares. So let's see if they go to the semi-final. They may not have journalists supporting them. But yes, I think the fairy tale is coming to an end. Because, I mean, Robben and Van Persie, if he comes back to form, and as Karim has rightly pointed out, probably the most flexible team, Louis van Gaal's team. They adapt according to the situation. Maybe it's a bridge too far for Costa Rica.
Maybe it's a bridge too far. If I could repeat your words, Novi. Yes, Novi is sounding the ominous bell for Costa Rica, saying this could be possibly the end of their campaign. Well, on that note, it's time for us to take a break here on this show. When we come back, we bring you into this conversation and show how you also can join in on the beautiful game. So stay up for that. 56 games done and dusted with. The quarterfinal stage have been reached in this World Cup. Time now to bring you into the conversation here on the beautiful game. All the tweets coming in. First one from Bonhomi saying 17 saves in a single World Cup match and he still bows out. Tim K. Howard gets better with his age but not his luck. I believe, Novi, that would be 14 or 15 saves for the Everton goalkeeper. Rudrunil says the FIFA World Cup 2014 should have come with the disclaimer, not for the weak-hearted. Certainly, the American fans would agree the way their game went last night. The Tarun Pant says all teams, he says this is a fact, all teams that are second in the group stages and qualified for round of 16 have now been kicked out of the tournament. Pretty harsh out there on the teams. And Sanukor says 5 of the 8 games in the last 16 of this World Cup have gone to extra time, a record in the history of the competition. Not sure about the record, but certainly it's the first time it's happened since 1990. And the final one is the tweet of the day. It comes from Amit Bose, former colleague of ours, who says, writes in a tweet sent to us from London saying, Di Maria 51 times lost possession, 61% passes completed, 4 of 91 crosses successful, but no one will remember. Well, Novi, Amit Bose has actually spelt out the basic mantra of life. Once you win, everybody forgets your mistakes. Is it true?
Yes, history always remembers the winners. The Dutch football team knows that very well. For all their glory in total football, they trade all that for one World Cup title.
Karim, closing thoughts on Di Maria?
Amit is right.
Right.
You know, everybody will remember only the goal, as much as much of the good work of Liechtensteiner. nobody will remember the good work, only the mistake that he did that leads to the goal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the
And the scorecard
way
will
of
always
football.
remain 1-0 for
Exactly.
Argentina. On that note, remember, you also can tweet into us, to Karim and Novi. Join us here on the beautiful game. Tweet to IBN Live with the hashtag World Cup. Leave all your questions for both Karim and Novi. They'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. On that note, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us yet again on another edition of the beautiful game. But don't forget, Digvijay Singh Deo will be coming back tonight with both Novi and Karim and take you through the World Cup that just went by, the last 56 matches. Time to say goodbye. Bye. Thanks for watching.